Hi, welcome back to Keith's Kitchen, and today we're going to cook garlic chicken. We're going to use about 50 cloves of garlic, and I have two couple breasts and some thigh or leg meat here, and I'm going to go ahead and season this. So you want to be pretty liberal with the seasoning because a lot of this will cook off. So I'm just using some kosher salt here, and I put it over a sheet pan so that way I kind of keep it a little clean. I got that. And I'm going to use a combination of white pepper and black pepper. And again, be fairly liberal with this. I'm going to go ahead and put the black pepper in there. Get that flipped over, and we're going to go ahead and season the other side. This is a really quick recipe. It cooks within collectively about 20 minutes, and it's incredibly delicious. Matter of fact, it's one of my son's favorite recipes, and today's a tribute to his appetite for this, and decided to make this today. So I'm going to go ahead and season this side. Okay. And actually, I've left this chicken sit out for about an hour. I kind of wanted it to relax, so when you put it in a hot pan, it's going to sear up and lock in the juices. Okay, so we're going to come on over here. And I have about a 12-inch Dutch oven pan. We're going to go ahead and sear this chicken in. So I'm going to drop some canola oil in there. I'm going to move that around. And we're going to have to turn this vent on. I'm going to put the dark meat in first since it takes a little longer to cook. And I'm going to put that skin side down. Actually, I'm going to drop these breasts in too. They're pretty good sized breasts, so I want to get them cooking as well. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. That way it browns up. It won't start steaming. So we're going to cook this for about 4 minutes on one side, and I'll flip it over and cook it for another 4 minutes. And we'll go ahead and take that chicken out, and then we'll get into the next step. See you in a minute. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 4 minutes. I've went ahead and flipped the drumsticks. I'm going to go ahead and wait till this browns up a little bit more. So we really want this fat to render down because that's going to be the base of the sauce that we're going to be making here. Okay, so this has been cooking for approximately 6 minutes. So I'm getting all that fat to render off that chicken into creating the base. And then I've got this oven set up for 400 degrees, and then I'll be putting the chicken in the oven for about 15 minutes or so until it hits a temperature about 165 internal to the drumsticks. So I'm turning these chickens on the sides. As you can tell, they're really thick, so I want to try to get this to cook evenly. Okay, so this chicken has been cooking for about 8 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the chicken. Just put it on this rack here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat down. And I'm going to go ahead and drop in about 50 cloves of garlic. And get that to cook in that grease. We're going to cook this down until it softens up a little bit, and then I'm going to add a little bit of flour. And that will be creating the base of the sauce, as you'll see shortly. I'm going to season this up a little bit. So you can really smell the garlic here. You don't have smell-o-vision, but I can assure you can smell that garlic cooking. Now I went ahead and bought the pre-packaged, pre-shelled garlic just for the sake of time, because 50 cloves of garlic could take a while to get out of their husks. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to caramelize. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in some flour. Now I'm using Wondra flour. It's a little finer, more refined flour. I like that because it just makes the sauce a little bit more silkier and smoother. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Wondra. It's about 2 tablespoons, by the way. And I'm going to go ahead and Stir that, the juices from the chicken and the oil, and this is going to create the thickness and the base for our sauce later. And what I have over here is I have about a 4-quart pot of water, salted, which actually I'm going to go ahead and salt right now. Be fairly generous with that salt. And then we're going to go ahead and cook the egg noodles, and we're going to mount the egg noodles with the chicken in the sauce that we're making out of this, which we'll be using white wine, and then we'll also be using some chicken stock. Okay, so that looks like it's thickened up. I'm going to turn the heat off here. I'm going to spread this out, and I'm going to go ahead and lay the chicken on top of that. So I'm going to go ahead and lid the chicken up, and again, this is preheated to 400. We're going to let this cook for about 15 minutes, and we will see you shortly. Okay, so the chicken's got about another 10 minutes left, and these noodles take about 10 minutes to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in some extra broad egg noodles. I'm going to put in almost the entire bag. And I'm going to cook this again for about 10 minutes. And then the chicken will be, I will take the chicken out of the oven and actually take the chicken out and then create the sauce. Okay, so the noodles have been cooking for about 10 minutes. I like my noodles al dente, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them from the heat. Turn the heat off, pull them over here, and I'm going to go ahead and drain them. I'll go ahead and just let that set there. And that chicken's been in there for about 15, 16 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and remove the chicken as well. Remember, that lid's hot, so make sure you use something that has seats. There you can go. Take a look at all that juice in there, and that's going to make our sauce. So that chicken looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and I do the punch test. Yeah, that feels nice and firm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and remove the chicken, turn the heat on the stove here, remove this. And now we're going to go ahead and make the sauce. I want to turn this up high, and we're going to deglaze the pan. We're going to use some white wine, and we are going to use some chicken stock, and we're going to use some butter. So I'm going to put about a cup of wine in there. Again, we're going to turn this to heat up. And that wine, that acidity is going to take off a lot of that fond, which is all the caramelized juices and fat on the bottom of that pan. So we're going to use that. See right there? And that's also that from the roux, the flour that I put in with the garlic cloves earlier. That will thicken this sauce up. So you can see it starts boiling here. So we're going to cook that alcohol out. Look how thick that sauce is. So that Wondra, that's a very refined flour, makes a really silky sauce. You can just use normal flour as well. So that's boiling down. I'm going to go ahead and put in about a cup of chicken stock. While that's going to reduce, I'm going to go ahead and chop a little bit of parsley, just for some color, as well as to help kind of neutralize all the flavors. And kind of roll it up in a tight ball here. That's approximately about a teaspoon and a half of parsley. We'll mount that at the end. Okay, so now you can tell the sauce is going to let this thicken and reduce a bit. So what I'm also going to do here is probably taste the sauce real quick just to see if it's going to need anything like salt or pepper. No, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and put about a tablespoon, maybe a little more. And that's going to really smooth out and make this sauce real silky and add a little bit more body to the sauce itself. And we're going to go ahead and show you how we serve this. It's very much home style served. And this recipe is really easy. It's a comfort food type of recipe. And what I will do, I like my sauce with some pepper, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit more pepper. When I do my 2 pepper, I always like the white and the black. A little pepper in there. So we want the sauce to be loose enough to sop up those the noodles to help sop this up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this heat off. Okay, so I went ahead and just put the chicken back in here with the juices. I've turned this actually off. I'm going to go ahead and serve this up. So I'm going to grab a nice handful of noodles here. Back here. We're going to go ahead and get a chicken breast. Mount that over here to the side. We're going to get that luscious sauce and go ahead and start putting it into the noodles. And we'll come over here and finish it off with a little bit of Italian flat leaf parsley. And there you go. 50 clove garlic rustic chicken. Enjoy.